Where do you think America is heading? Um, let's not forget the domestic issues.
The U.S. Does not have a functioning political system and has not had a functioning political system for 30 years or so. And this is very interesting. American society really has great strengths, many centers of capacity in business, in academia, in civil society. And so even though our political system has badly malfunctioned, the country has done okay for the last 30 years, other than troubles caused by directly these foreign policy disasters. But the country and the economy has gone on. Many important innovations have occurred. Many great discoveries have occurred in the academic community and scientific community. So you see a country with great strengths. But for me, the remarkable fact is how poorly the political system has functioned consistently for 30 years. And I've tried to understand that, and my conclusion is that there are two things deeply wrong with the American political system. One is that it became a pay-for-play political system to a shocking extent.
What a paper.
Pay for play, that it became a corrupt political system in which campaign contributions translated into public policy. And this was not always the case. The role of lobbying changed in the United States, starting systematically in the 1970s. And there were a series of Supreme Court rulings, the most famous of which is Citizens United, in which the conservative Supreme Court ruled that limits on campaign financing were simply unconstitutional, because the idea was, and the judges were very explicit about it, giving for campaigns is speech, and free speech predominates any interest in limiting campaign financing. This was a doctrine put forward by one judge, Lewis Powell, and it's a very interesting history because Lewis Powell was a corporate lawyer. He worked with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and in the late 60s and early 70s, he said inside the business community, all of this environmental regulation and Ralph Nader and consumer interest groups, this is killing us. The business community has to retake politics. And on that basis, a famous memo that he wrote, he caught the attention of Richard Nixon, who put him on the Supreme Court. And a few years after that, he wrote the first opinion ending limits on corporate campaign contributions. It was a concerted strategy, and several decisions basically eliminated any boundaries of giving. When you do this, you reach a kind of caricature. Elon Musk is a caricature of this. The richest person in the world who funds the campaign of the presidential candidate and who says to Congress, anyone that steps out of line, I fund opponents to defeat you. And so you can't get more vivid in the plutocratic element than having Elon Musk as your prime minister, which is his informal position right now. And this is how American politics really degenerated terribly over a 30-year period. I once was in the presence of a Democratic Party member of Congress, and I asked her about some terrible decision Congress made on health care costs. And she literally put her face in her hands and said, the lobbies, the lobbies. it became overwhelming, the money play. And because of this, all of the issues of American society, of inequality, of the widening gaps between different classes in America, of the growth of the poor underclass, of the epidemics of deaths of despair that you all know about, which are very serious afflictions of American society, not one of them was addressed in public policy. There has been no effort once in 30 years to address inequality in the United States, to address, we have an epidemic of opioids and everything else. Who gets blamed? China, of course. China, fentanyl precursors. Who takes the opioids? It's the Americans.